Good morning. Good morning. Good morning for those watching live. One is watching live right now. Welcome to Midnight Ramblings, admittedly, at 15 minutes past midnight. Did my usual routine. Karen and I watched some Dark Shadows. Then she went to bed, and I did the dishes. I do the dishes most nights before I come over here to this studio. Hi, Melissa. You have your notification bell on you, and that bell is working fine. Hey, Jack and all. We'll see how much of an all there is, at least live. Pam Donnelly is here. Hi. Sue Fenner. Hello, hello, hello. This could also be called a pop on to pop off. I'm looking more like Cruella de Vil all the time. But I don't have any Dalmatians. I think they're a wonderful dog. I hear they shed a lot. We had an Akita that shed and stunk. I was a mix of wonderful to that dog and not as nice as I could have been. So I had mixed feelings and sometimes regret, and then I would pamper the dog. But the dog was here when I got here, as were 7 cats, 5 birds. It was a virtual zoo when I arrived in 2010. I didn't think you came on to the weekend. Well, I always say, Susan, or Suzanne, that it is good to set your notification bell because we can pop on to pop off, or we can do a midnight ramblings. Now, I might have, if I knew I was going to do this, I might have promoted the midnight ramblings. But I want to do time slots that I never do, like the mornings, because I am certainly not a morning person. Getting up at 7 a.m. in the morning to me can be near torture, near torture. And I thought I had to do it a lot this week, at least 4 or 5 times. I know next week on the 22nd, I have to be up at like 7 in the morning and get out of here by 8 o'clock in the morning to drive down to Westchester Medical Center for my monthly sonogram of the heart, and then see either Dr. Naidu or one of the great nurse practitioners, Roz or Barry or both. I usually see them. They're like a team, they come in as a team. That's Barry with an I, a female Barry. I believe she identifies that way too. Let's see here. So we have unexpected people that have found us. I'm always amazed and I'm thankful. I'm very thankful. We have Nancy DeMarco, one of our loyal viewers. Hi, Nancy. I'm so glad you're here. But Sue, yeah, I my goal is to do more live and more recorded, and more roll-in video. And that means, like any other goal I have to be committed to it. Now, the reason I didn't think I'd be doing much this week, as I was supposed to work with a 95-year-old gentleman, and I actually did on Wednesday, started at 3 p.m. No, started at 2 p.m. and was going to work to 8, but it ended up just being 7. Now, I don't want to get on here and share his personal story, except that, he's 95 and he was having trouble with his legs, and that's a problem when you're halfway up a staircase. But anyway, long story short, he's in the hospital right now. His daughter came over and we took him to the hospital, and they're doing tests and all that. And I'm not working this Friday as I thought. I'm supposed to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But he is a great man, and it's been a privilege now to work with him for about a year and a quarter. So, yeah, I'm kind of the backup caregiver, Pam Donnelly. And welcome, by the way, Pam. Um, Just because it was someone named Donnelly that stole my first wife doesn't mean I would hold that against you in any way. You know how old he was on our wedding day, Pam? Guess how old he was when I got married for the first time? He was 7 years old. 7. That was all my fault. It was all my fault. Not gonna kid you. I know where you're coming from, Jack, being a caregiver. Yeah, so I just do a string of dates. That's how it's been for the last year and almost a half. I guess it is more than a year and a half now. I mean, I may go months and not do any dates, and then I'll have 4 days in a row. This was supposed to be six in a row. That was a good one. And I was, I made you laugh, huh? 7-year-old, right? Who would have thought as I was standing at the altar there in 1985 that there was a 7-year-old lurking around? But, who would have thought that I would not have taken my marriage vows more seriously than I did? So my fault all the way. I want to make that clear and stop talking about that. Jan Rickman. Hi, Jack. Hello, Jan. Are you new? I think you are. Where are you watching from, if you don't mind giving us a general idea? We don't need your PIN number or anything like that. Hi, Vera. Reg- It's not Regaldo. It's not Regaldo. There's an extra A there. Can you get rid of that extra A? Because it really throws me, Vera. um, and Ella W., someone else new. Hi, Ella. Ohio in the house. Yeah. Your governor may be a dimwit. Ha ha ha. But he's a dimwit, not a DeWitt, right? Um, Maybe you don't feel that way. But Hot Springs, Arkansas. Well, 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 big things happening there on August 10th and 11th, right? Are you going to attend, or do you even know what I'm talking about? I don't know. People want me to come to Hot Springs, Arkansas on the 10th and 11th. I'm not sure all people do, though. I could think of specifically one person in general, but who knows? Who knows? By the way, the subtitle of Midnight Ramblings is The Allure of Choosing the Wrong Way. That's what we're going to talk about, and I'll get to it soon, I promise. I know if I talk for 40 minutes, well, you can always fast forward if that's what you're looking for, but I hope you don't fast forward. I hope you stay with us right here, and you might find something that amuses you, and you're welcome to participate. Here is Shell, a mere shell of her former self, also known as Shelley, the campaign manager for Donald Trump, but in the country of Canada. What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day? Well, I was supposed to work 2 to 8 o'clock with the 95-year-old gentleman and then come over here. Yeah. Come back home and have some warmed up corned beef and cabbage with the boiled potato and carrots, just like everybody else or many people. Um, so I don't know now, though, if I'm working. Maybe I'll get to have it fresh. I'd rather, make the money, but you never know when you're a caregiver, and when your one and only client is 95 years old. By the way, here on this March the 15th now, 2024, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but that's the fan. I haven't got the AC in yet. No, 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 because it's 55 degrees and it's warm. Because this second floor room in a duplex, even though there's an attic above me, this can feel like an attic. This can feel like an attic. And so I said, I'm going to go get the fan from the spare room that used to be Karen's room when she was a child. The room that I'm in was her parents' room. This is why I constantly get punched and scratched in the middle of the night, and I hear this voice saying, "Get the something out of here." I can't ever make out that word, and I probably just as well. Um, get the blankety blank out of here. Ha ha ha, says Shell. Yes. And I have had scratches that I couldn't explain, but maybe I did them in my sleep, or maybe it is, you know, uh, now I did take care of Karen's mother in her last days, including when she went to Georgia. I want to put a feather in my cap here. I made her, she had a caregiver that would come in. Um, but I would make her breakfast and what have you. And I learned very important things. Don't ever hand her a towel that I bet you somebody else can relate to this for an older person. Don't ever give her a towel that did not come from the dryer but came from the clothesline. We actually have a clothesline out back. That is a big mistake. This feels like sandpaper. This is awful. I can't use this. Yes, yes. Oh, and you have to heat the plates. Anybody have to do that for their mother or their grandmother? You can't use a plate that is cold. You have to heat the plate by itself, or if you're heating food, sometimes you're warming up food on the stove, so that won't work. You have to heat the plate before you give it to them. Anybody had that experience? That and the towels, I quickly learned. So Karen was in Georgia visiting her grandchildren, and I and her son Andy and the caregiver took care of her mom while she was away, and she died. Oh, I guess back in 2014. I've been here 14 years now. It's hard for me to believe that I walked in here 2010. At the time, I was the afternoon radio personality on WVOS FM in Monticello. It was really outside of Monticello in the Catskills, Sullivan County. And I didn't tell Karen when I walked in here for the first time. I didn't tell Karen that I didn't have a home. See, I had just, had a breakup in my second marriage. I just don't mind saying these things. And I quickly got back up here to New York. I mean, the text that told me my marriage was over, I said text, said, Jack, just go back to New York. I'll mail your stuff. Now, I should have at that point said, no, I'm entitled to get my stuff. And I had an officer, police officer, come and get my stuff. I wouldn't have been able to fit it all in the car anyway. I wouldn't have been able to fit it all in. Instead, I relied on her to mail my stuff, and she mailed about half of it. So, so I didn't tell Karen when I came here for the first time that I was living in my car. I had never lived in my car in all my, at that time, 50 some years, you know? I mean, if I'm 67 now and I came here 14 years ago, I'm about to turn um, 68. That would be the next number, isn't it? I was never good at math. Um, I'm about to turn 68 on the 21st of March. So, I was in my 50s, and so was Karen. She's, like a year or so younger than me, but I didn't tell her when I came here. See, what had happened is I got back here to New York from South Carolina, and, I had to get a job quick. I had actually, I was homeless down there for a little while, living in my car, saving money to come back to New York. And then, I got a job as a caregiver, and it paid pretty good money. I had a lead to this job of a gentleman who had muscular dystrophy, perhaps. And I was working 10-hour days, 5 days a week, and it was pretty good money. And I wanted to do some radio voice tracking, which means you can do it at different times, and you can do a 5-hour show in like an hour and a half, or less. You're just filling in the donuts on the computer, and when people hear you on the air, they think you're actually sitting there playing the music, but you're not. Anyway, here I am about 6 weeks in, but I'm still living in my car, and I try to, I had worked at WVOS-FM. I talked to the program director and said I'd like to do a weekend radio show again, just voice track a radio show Saturdays. And he said, "Well, I think I could do better than that." And he offered me afternoon drives, 6 days a week, with the sixth day being completely voice track. So I would be working a 5-day week. And the money he was offering was actually less than I was getting for doing 10 hours a week as a caregiver. But I just had to be a radio star again. So when I came here to see Karen in 2010, I did not tell her that I was homeless. I didn't. She didn't know that till later. And I'll tell the rest of that story some other time. Good evening, Jack and everyone on board tonight. We have light rain and 46 degrees now, going down to 38 overnight. Well, it's 55, and I got the fan on for the first time here this year, 2024. But temperatures will be dropping, and some rain will be moving in this. So it was absolutely beautiful. When you think about how much of a drag it is around here in December, January, February, um, once March comes, you start to see an incredible spring. You know, you start to see an incredible spring um, here in the Hudson Valley. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And already the crocuses are coming out, and Karen can see the bulbs from her tulips. But it's gonna get chilly again, and we could even get some more snow. So welcome. Cheryl Everhart joins us. Hi, Jack and family. Kathleen is here. What are you talking about, Jack? LOL. I thought it was pretty good myself, Kathleen. I thought it was pretty good. I just share life experiences here, and you're welcome to share yours. But you can leave me hanging if you want. It's just like the allure of choosing the wrong way. When you do a topic like that, and I don't know where I'm going with it and how far I'm going to get with it. This is just like, the beginning. It's a topic that's worthy. I don't know if I have the audience for it, though. That's another thing. Um, do you have the audience for it? Um, I like to talk about politics since the world is, blowing up around us, but not a lot of people in my audience seem to want to do that. So I keep it short. Give them what they want, they say. You want to be successful, give them what they want. Kathleen is game. I bet she would play Naked Twister. I bet she would. She may have played Naked Twister. I have never played Naked Twister, I can assure you. I don't know why I said that, but I just thought of that game. But thank you for the happy birthday there, Shell. It's not till the first full day of spring, March 21st, but it's just around the corner now. Who knows? I'll come on probably around that time. But hot springs, huh, Jan? If you're still here, um, yes. They're having a big event on the 10th and 11th at the convention center there, right? Hot Springs Convention Center. Pastor Bob Joyce himself, I believe, will be preaching, having the Sunday service, going on the road with the Sunday service from Household of Faith in Benton on that Sunday, and there'll be baptisms following it, if not there, in the usual lake, wherever the usual lake is. So I wasn't planning on doing a Saturday show, but now I probably will. I probably will. As a far of a birthday show, I mean, I don't know what that would look like, Kathleen Wiedenbacher. I don't know what that would look like. So yeah, Ted in Vermont, we're gonna see some cooler temperatures. Vermont, the state that voted for Nikki Haley. How'd that go for Vermont? I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you didn't, Ted. I don't know. But now she's just disappeared into the ether. The rich donors were fine with wasting their money. How many millions were wasted on Nikki Haley that could have been used to feed kids? What if that money had gone to the Christians and Jews organization for Jews that have no food in their pantry? You know, you see those commercials just like I do. And of course, now they're supporting Israel in general as they're at war and the atrocity that happened October 7th. And I understand that atrocities have happened in Gaza. This is what happens when you're trying to get Hamas eliminated and they walk amongst the regular civilians and hide their bombs in schools and hospitals. It's a bad scene. War is hell, right? I've never experienced it, but I'm sure it is. Don't remind me of her win. Well, it was meaningless, you know. It's just like now RFK Jr. is that close to picking Adrian Rogers as his running mate to be president, and which will definitely take votes away from Biden. So Republicans have one gesture in response to that. Go for it. Go for it, RFK Jr. You may have to go home, but you'll be going home at the end of the day to Cheryl Hines, who plays Larry David's wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm until they got a divorce on the show, you know? So going home to Cheryl Hines is a pretty good thing, I would think. Um, but and the other possibility would be Jesse Ventura, former governor and former wrestler. I'll say this about Jesse Ventura. Um, he may be a little out there, but he is one hell of an interview. He's like Charlie Sheen, and there's just certain people when they speak, you're going to stop and listen to them. When you see Jesse Ventura being interviewed, I guarantee you it is worth your time to stop and listen to this man because there's nobody quite like Jesse. There's nobody quite like Tucker Carlson. You know, these are in the one of a kind class. I don't know if I could put Hannity in the one of a kind class in that regard, but I can certainly put Tucker there. I can certainly put Charlie Sheen there, and I can certainly put Jesse Ventura, and I could think of a whole bunch more if I wanted to use my noodle. If I activated my medulla and my cerebellum, I could probably come up with a whole bunch more. But let's save the cerebellum for something more worthy. And of course, immediately CNN that's freaking out. CNN, by the way, has a record that's been established. It's never been established before. I saw this on Facebook. Okay. I'll be honest, it's not mine. CNN is the first network to have more people working inside of it, working for CNN, than they have viewers. There's more people working for them. And that, whether it's true or it's not, since they have so many people working for them, and some of them are good, you know, those international reporters, Ben Wiedemann, Phil Black, and oh, come on now, there's so many more that are uh, reporting internationally. Um, I don't know if Nick Payton Walsh is still there. Um, but there's a plethora of those, and they have to be announced. They have to be introduced when they're finally given airtime by people that have sold out in every way, shape, and form in the news media. You know, like Tapper and Blitzer and people that never had any credibility to begin with, but they did, and they sold it out because of a hatred for Donald Trump, and they abandoned first year journalism to just abandon becoming a reporter and become a shill of the Democratic slash progressive party. I hope it was worth it, guys. Why do people vote for their own self destruction? That's been said before. Why do people vote for their own self destruction? It's happening in droves, but they're too stupid to know it. Patty with an I is here as well. And good evening, y'all. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Yes, I did, and I'm listening. Yes, I like those thumbs up also known as hitting the like button. Please hit the like button. And we've got 14 watching now. We'll have more in the replay, but this won't be as big as Saturday night's Worldwide Ramblings, which will be at 10:30 East Coast time if we do it, and I think we will. We did it at 11 last week, and that worked out fine. Probably 10:30, but I'll let you know in the promo, bro. Although if I'm going to do a promo, I got to do it pretty quick. It's already Friday, isn't it? Wow, time is a flying. Time is a flying. So, the allure of choosing the wrong way. Well, the first thing I counted is some people spell allure with one L, and some people spell it with two. What you say? How would you spell it? With one L or two? Because when I type it in the computer and put one L as when I Google it, it says one L. The computer tells me I'm spelling it wrong. And I know I've seen it. Now, there's a movie called Allure on the Tubi, and I'm not saying you should watch it. Naughty, naughty, stay away there, uh, Shell, and you too, Miss Whataburger. Um, but I'm pretty sure it's two L's in that movie. Two L's in that movie that I probably didn't watch much of. But anyway, yeah, see, you spell it with two L's. I think, and that looks better with two L's. But on the computer, when I Googled it, it said one L. Let's see, to attract or tempt by something flattering or desirable. I like this one better. A person who draws, now I can't read my own writing, you in, a person who draws you in through their allure, their sensuality, their sensuality. Elvis had an incredible sensuality and drew probably 1 billion women in, and maybe a few guys too. Maybe. What am I talking about? Let's just be real here. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say Allure with two L's. I think I'll go with that. I, I don't know if I ended up going with that in the title or not, but I'll find out when this show is over, because immediately after we do this Midnight Ramblings, which is all impromptu, almost you could call it a pop on to pop off. This will immediately be available in the replay section. Hello, replay crowd. And you can participate here, and we'll check out what you said, and we will, hopefully more than just me, will interact with you there. Now, I expect you, Shell, to do that, and I expect you, Kathleen Whataburger, because you're like in the regular club here, and Pam, you're welcome too. And you do, Ted Richards, as well. I agree. Two L's in Allure. It just feels right, doesn't it? I was surprised when I went to Google and it said one L. I really was. And then the computer told me I was making a mistake. Oh, have you ever done something for someone that you did at a discount rate and then get completely burned? It happened to me this week. Um, I'll tell this story now, and then we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about, because you can bring up topics too. And Allure, Allure. Um, we have a neighbor who's from Haiti. He's lived here well before I got here 14 years ago with his wife. And he had to get cataract surgery. And, you can't drive after, even though it was one eye, you can't drive after cataract surgery. And it's just about, I'd say 20 miles or less up the road, 15 miles. I didn't really check it. But he comes over here, and he's talking to my my tech guy, Dandy Andy. Well, Andy doesn't do much driving and hasn't got a new eye prescription. He needs to be talking to me because it's not the right thing for Karen too. She just kind of drives locally. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. You want to be driven somewhere? You talk to me. I'm the guy. That's what I do. I don't fix lawnmowers and snow blowers, that's Andy. I don't snow blow, that's Andy. But I'm the guy if you want to get somewhere, you know? Not that I'm thrilled anymore about the idea of New York airports. I'm not. Um, so I said to him, well, you really need to talk to me, you know? And he was talking about taking a taxi, but they'll only wait for you 20 minutes. Only wait for you 20 minutes. And I'm going to be in there a lot longer. He was in there a lot longer, like 2.5 hours, you know. You don't ask them to wait. He didn't understand this. We're not quite sure how old he is, but he's probably over 70, I would say. And I said, you have to take two different taxis. You have to if you have to you pick the local taxi here and they take you up, and that's going to cost you probably um 50, $60, and then a tip is expected, you know. And then on the way back you're going to have to take the taxi that's close up there, and they'll bring you back and another $50, $60 plus tip. And I knew I would do it a lot for him, a lot less than that. Now, if he was poor and said, I just don't have any money, and I knew this was the case, I'd say I would just do it. You know, I would just do it for you. But I wanted to cut him a break. He says, well, I need to know how much you're going to charge me. And I said, well, what did you have in mind? You know, and he said $80. And I said, that's too much. That's too much. I'll do it for 60. I'll do it for 60. So I'm giving him like a free ride back kind of thing, at least. And he says, well, I'll make it 65. I'll give you a tip. I said, okay, that's fine. 65. So I have to do this. I've got to get up at 7 in the morning, which to me is the middle of the night. It's the middle of the night. And, trying to get to sleep early, it's hard to do. I end up having to take a second quarter of a gram of Xanax, and it's just hell. So, but I was out there, and he sure enough was ready by about 5 minutes to 8. He was knocking on the door over there. And I took him, and in my car, he said I could use his, but I didn't want to do that. I took him, and we were there over 2.5 hours. I'm just waiting in the waiting room. I'm trying to read a book, but I'm exhausted, that kind of thing. And finally, they tell me to pull the car around, that he's going to be ready. He comes to the car with the nurse and says, "Where can I use the bathroom?" You can use the bathroom where you just came from, of course. This is all going to happen to you and me someday. So back he goes, and I wait, and he comes out again, and off we go. And we get back here a little after 12 o'clock. So he starts reaching into his left pocket. And I say, okay, well, he's going to pay me. That's good. And he says, you were there a long time. You were there a long time. And plus the gas, you used your own car with your own gas. So you need to get some gas. And he reaches into his left pocket and he hands me a $20 bill. Would you have said something? I'll take a poll. Would you have said something? Should I have said, well, just last night with Karen and Andy standing right there, we talked about $65. You wanted to give me 80, but I said, no, 60 is good. And then you said, I'll give you 65. He's now giving me a $20 bill, which means after gas, I'm making for this trip of getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning about $12, because I have a compact car. I have an efficient car. And so he hands me 20, and I have to make a split second decision. And I'm thinking, well, uh, maybe he doesn't have a lot of money, although he's done a ton of work on his house and stuff like that. And I made a decision just not to say anything. So this is an insult, to be honest. And I'm wondering if he's doing this just to get over on me, or if his wife said, "Oh, he doesn't even want the money from what you're telling me," or something like that. Whatever. So he hands me a 20, and that's that. The next day, I had left because this is a duplex where Karen's on the other side. Sometimes she's over here. Um, I went over here to the studio, and Karen texted me and said, "Come back. Charlie's here, and he wants to see you." So I come back, and he's sitting in the chair by the love swing, and he's got an envelope, and I'm thinking, great, he realized, oh my God, I never paid him. What am I saying? Giving him 20. I told him I'd give him 65, but it's not that. It's legal papers. And I don't want to go into detail about this, but it's legal papers, and he can't really read English very well. So now he wants me to read these legal papers. And so I go over to my recliner, and he follows me and sits on the couch. And I got to read 3 or 4 pages of complicated legal jargon. And there's a specific point that he wants, it's drawn up from the lawyer. There's a specific point that he wants to make sure is in there. And must have asked me like 8 times, "So you're sure that's in there?" And I said, "Yeah, it's right here. It's right here." And then he starts talking about Haiti finally after that, and he says, "I can't go right now. We all know what's going on in Haiti right now, but I would love to go when things quiet down. Could you drive me to the airport?" He means LaGuardia Airport. Tolls are like 30 some dollars, which would, I don't have Easy Pass, so it would go on they would capture my driver's license registration. It would go on my account. Now he thinks I'm like his driver, and boy, my price is really good, right? It's nothing or next to nothing. So I'm going to have to break the news to him that first of all, I don't even like driving anywhere near the city anymore. The chance of you having a car wreck goes way up, and I'm going to have to. I don't think he's even going to go because things are going to stay volatile in Haiti for a long time. But you try to do nice things, and you're never sure as someone gets older whether they just plain forgot the whole conversation or whatever. So that's my story. That's my story. And there are times when you will feel the Holy Spirit, I believe, telling you, do it for nothing. Do it for nothing. I didn't feel that this time because probably because I think he has the money. But anyway, that's that. Hello, Laura Shadley. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Don't tell us the next day he wanted change back from the 20. No, I can't tell you that. But it was weird. Hard to sometimes pick up. Oh, here's Felice Cooper. The artists go to Spotify and other musical platforms and listen to the music of Felice Cooper. Some beautiful instrumentals there. Absolutely beautiful, worth your time. And when you go to a platform like um, Spotify, Apple Music, and I think there's a paid section of YouTube, right? Um, YouTube Music, the artist gets some compensation. So that's a good thing to do. It's almost 66 here in Ohio and raining right now, and there's heat lightning. Heat lightning. Hmm. Good evening, says Randy from North Carolina under the name Tammy Biggerstaff. Yeah. Hi, Randy. You've been communicating with me. I'm trying to think about one thing that was the topic. Um, See, it's short term, but I can almost bring it out of my head right now. Yeah, okay, I got it. Um, Spa guy. I might have more to say about that, just not now. Some things you have to do in pre-recorded videos because even though I have a third grade math level, I'm not totally stupid. Other things I do put into the live show. I care about making the live shows good too. I bet you Marty Greco would want me to do that. Hi, Marty Greco. Hi, Jack. Did you watch Pastor Bob's sermon from 310 24 titled Welcome to His World? No, I haven't gotten to it yet. I've been so busy. But I hear that they did not put up the praise and worship service for that very same service where Pastor Bob sang a song that Elvis sung many times. Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles or something. I'd like to have some gin. Well, that may not be the lyric, but interesting that they didn't put up the music service. Is that true? Welcome to his world. In the middle of his sermon, he started singing Welcome to my world. Okay, so he didn't do it during the praise and worship. Okay. He was Elvis for sure at that moment. Right. I'm glad you spelled that out for me because with no praise service, they said that was listed. I thought, wow, that's a weird thing to put into a praise service, almost like the other song he put in after the passing of Lisa Marie Presley. Um, so, and I have a whole video of that, and we show Pastor Bob singing. That's from January or February of um, 2023, right? Yeah. Time just runs together. Time just runs together. Um, yeah, Elvis sang that song a lot, a lot live in concert. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a good title for a sermon. Welcome to his world, you know. Won't you come on in, It's a gift that has to be received. If you confess with your mouth and you believe in your heart that Jesus Christ is Lord, um, you to the glory of God the Father, you will be saved. Saved from what? Saved from an eternity of separateness from the Lord. Separateness from the Lord. He used the words as if they were from God. Right, Jack? Um, I haven't seen the sermon yet, so I'm going to do that. Very interesting. It was great. That's great. Yeah, I enjoy hearing that he preached a good sermon. Okay, so the video that I have up is 1:15:20. Well, I did the video a little later than that, but 1:15:23. That edition of the Household of Faith service with Pastor Bob Joyce. On that day, this is Nancy DeMarco reminding us of this. The public memorial for Lisa Marie Presley was opposite Benton, 160 miles away. They made a big deal, Household of Faith, of letting you know that he would be there on the 15th of January 2023 that Pastor Bob would be preaching. People need to know because they come from long distances, and if he's not going to be there, sometimes if it's bad weather then they get the weather report late, people could have already traveled internationally only to get to Benton and stay at whatever they stay at. There's hotels in Benton to find out he's not preaching that Sunday. It's very rare. Usually, when he knows he's going to miss a Sunday, they promo that well in advance. But, people book travel months in advance. So, you always take that chance. Don't ever save yourself a few dollars and not go for the free cancellation because you might have to use it, especially in an instance like that. So we have 24 watching. Hi, everybody. 13 likes. Why not 24 likes? Do some people not like me? Please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're over 6,700 viewers right now. I mean, not as much as Bobby Arnoff. Do you know who she is, Bobby Arnoff? She's like a YouTube sensation right now. And she even interviewed Jimmy Kimmel. He's funny, but of course, he sold out to the woke generation and lost half his viewers in the process. The other two, Jimmy Fallon, in terms of a monologue and a talk show host, to me, is not that funny at all. Not a good interviewer, but boy, he can do some great impressions, that Jimmy Fallon. He can. He's wonderful in that area. Stephen Colbert, I don't know what happened to him. Sunday school teacher and everything, and he just lost his way. More people are hitting the like button. Thank you very much. That helps me. It all helps me. I'm not sure how. Um, what helps me the most in this whole YouTube Google thing is for every 1,000 views, I get paid. For every 1,000 views, I get a little something, something, little something, something. Can you imagine those people that get a million and a half views? Some of them are just sharing other people's work entirely, and they get a million and a million and a half views. Oh, yes. Then I could get my full size Audi. I could get my full size Audi if I got enough of those. But store up for yourself, not treasures here on Earth. Get rid of that $10 million house, Joel Osteen. You don't need it. You do need a nice house and a gated community. Absolutely. I understand. You need to protect your family. $10 million. I mean, God is saying, gee, I don't know if I have anything that nice up here in heaven. I'm just kidding. And a $1 million car, is that true? What car costs a million? Is that a Lamborghini? Is that something better? I don't know. I just want a full size Audi. That's not too expensive, right? I want it to be cream colored with a tan camel leather tan interior. I saw this car when I worked security as a part-time job a while back at the Pepsi plant up in Newburgh, New York. The owner had that. And I would just look at that car. I'd stand outside it and say, well, that's a bit of all right. Don't get a half size Audi. That doesn't look that cool. Don't get a half size BMW. They don't look cool. No, you want a full size black BMW if you're going to get one. Oh dear. Thank you for the compliment on my music. Well, I did listen to it and I enjoyed it very much. And we have somebody new, if you happen to be watching, who's a violinist. And I want to listen to. She sent me. She has some friends who play the harp, but this woman, I'm not going to say much about her, has played in the for some of the biggest names in music, and maybe that she'll come on here. I really do have to get over my fear and start doing Zoom interviews. But then that is coupled with a fear that if I don't do the right thing, someone great will come on here, but there won't be a lot of views for it, and I'll feel bad about that. So I got a million things swimming around in my head, including the allure of choosing the wrong way. See, when you do a topic like this, there are people that will take the Bible and use it as like a grenade, and they'll lob it right at your head. They'll use scripture verses to try to hit you in the head and say, "Well, you know what to do. You know what to do." And in that case, I just want to put a camera on them, and we can all watch them for a week. You know, not in their most personal moments. We'll have to have the kind of technology that can shut off. But um, we're very quick to want to hurl correction, and you can find some scriptures that talk about that too. I'm not saying you can't, but then we all find that we have this common struggle with sin. I talked in the description of this video that we talk about the struggle too. And the thing about being allowing yourself to be allured by another human being, another sensual scenario, shall we say, is that you will become addicted to that. Just like everybody's addicted to something right now, and flat screen addiction is uh, is at the top of the list. I mean, Joe Biden, who says he's for democracy, then went on to talk about how he wants to ban this, that, and the other thing. And at the top of his list right now is TikTok. But I'll make a prediction and say it may come off his list because he's losing more young people by talking about wanting to. If it comes on my desk, a bill to ban TikTok in the United States, I will sign it. And he's costing himself votes. He's costing himself votes. So I don't know. It's going to take a lot of tomfoolery to for him to get reelected, you know. But they know all the tricks in the book. Our foes, if you're of the same opinion, they know all the tricks in the book. But I was watching these kids talk about being allured by something. They're allured by TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Tinder. Who knows? Um, but they spend so much time on there, and teenagers are talking about, I'll commit suicide if they ban TikTok. And there is a legitimate concern about the Chinese government gathering data. The CEO of the company that owns TikTok, it's got a D in it, right? Can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I've only heard it a couple of times. He said, "Well, we don't know what we did wrong. We don't know what we did wrong that you want to ban TikTok here. There's a lot of American businesses that are on TikTok and they're benefiting from it, and there's a lot of positive things. It's like with any flat screen technology. There's good things and there's bad things, you know." And if you use YouTube as an information service with a little entertainment too, yes, it can be wonderful. But if you're on there, 20 hours a day or 15 hours a day or whatever, if you're on TikTok all the time, go out and experience the world. Keep your device in your pocket and go sit by the waterfall. Go enjoy a beautiful summer day. Um, it's Your life goes by fast enough without you watching other people's experiences, but there's some there's some benefit to TikTok. What do you think about TikTok? Um, what do you think about that? Well, the comments just stopped dead. I hope are we still on? You're not buffering, are you? I hate when we're buffering. We usually don't have that problem in the late night hours. Um, there you go, Claudette. Pretty little Claudette. Da 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 dum. Are you the usual Claudette? I guess you are. Good to see you, Jack. Yes, we're popping on to pop off here on Midnight Ramblings, which we started at 15 minutes past midnight because I had to do the dishes and I had to set up, and I had to write down a few things that I want to talk about. And then we came on at 12:15. Um, so here we are. Pam Donnelly says, "Yeah, I'm here, but I'm fixing to go to bed." Oh, you're fixing. My son says that now. He's a New Yorker, but he's been living in Texas for a number of years now. He's fixing to go into Love's truck stop. He's home now for the weekend, a little earlier than usual, and I'm happy about that. He cherishes his hometown as all his home time as all truck drivers do. I understand that, and of course, any of you can watch the replay and please subscribe and like. Oh, the numbers are really close now. One more like and will be the same as the amount of viewers I have right now. It would be 22 and 22 if somebody hits the like button that hasn't hit it already. 22 and 22. That would be cool. That would be cool in real time. Ella W, what are you saying? I don't have TikTok and I will never. Don't want them to spy on me. Yeah, well, there's other ways. It's really hard to have privacy. There it is, 22 and 22. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just like seeing it because it's kind of cool. um, if I'm sure most of you have subscribed, hit the notification bell. I think the people here in the live stream all have the notification bell on. My sister was a trucker uh, for 25 years. She loved it. Was she out there solo, or did she have a co-driver? I guess I'm saying, was her husband also a driver, and it was a husband and wife team, or whatever, friend, lover, whatever. um, my son is, he could leave that job and be fine with it. Plus, he he drives for the company that delivers for Family Dollar, and I don't think this affects Texas because they're pretty big out there, but in some spots, they're talking about closing a number of Family Dollar and Dollar Trees owned by the same people. I love Dollar Tree here in New York. We have two of them here in the Hudson Valley, where part of it where I am, and I love going in there. They have things that First of all, it's not a dollar anymore. It went up to a dollar 25, but then they have a $3 aisle, and they have in the back they have frozen foods as much as $5, and I'm fine with that because it gives you better selection and it's still cheaper than it would be at the ShopRite supermarket, which is in the same plaza. She was solo, but her husband drove his own truck. Yeah, independent, huh? That's always good. You can kind of set your own schedule, and maybe you can find someone you trust that can drive the truck for you and still make money while you're staying at home. Um, yeah, so it's good. Happy birthday, Jack. All right, that's on the 21st, but yeah, it'll be here, and it'll be kind of a relief for me to hit 68 years old because that will mean I lived longer than my father, who died at 67 years of age when he was just a few weeks away from being 68. How about a few days away in 1967? And he probably had cardiomyopathy like I do. But there was no mavacamten, the drug that I'm on, which is a very expensive drug. Thank God for my New York City retirement insurance. But with all the strain on the New York budget, who knows what's going to happen in the future? If I if I lose my small pension, what can I tell you? It'll be real tough. My daughter's birthday, Claudette says, is the 25th. Yeah, just seems to be so many March birthdays. So happy birthday. What's her name? Claudette. Ted Richards says, my dad passed 6 hours before my 63rd birthday. Wow, yeah, that's young. That's young. I bet he was young too, right? My dad had when I was born, my dad was in his 50s, I guess. My mother had me at 40, and back in 1956, that that was scarier than it would be now to have a baby at 40. And then I couldn't breastfeed. I wouldn't mind doing it now. I'm just joking. I'm injecting some levity. Uh, Ted Richards told me to say that actually. Um, but they finally found a formula that I could keep down. But I was dying. I was close to death, I think. Hello, David Quino. Hey, Jack. You're right about Fallon. Best thing Jimmy Fallon ever did was his Jim Morrison impersonation. Yeah, and Neil Young would be right behind it. Reading rainbows. Reading rainbow. Yeah, I can't. I should be. The guy is sleeping down there. I covered up the vent because I don't need heat from downstairs anymore, and the heat's not coming on. I saw that. I loved it, and he does a lot of good ones like that. I was impressed by the performance on YouTube. Yeah, you want to check out when he sings Neil Young, and then Neil Young joins him if you haven't seen that one already. Raining very hard in central Kentucky. What's the temperature, Patty? What I'm really asking, Patty, with an I, is it a cold Kentucky rain? Yeah, 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 yeah. The cold Kentucky rain. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, Ted'll be uh, 56 next month. Well, cool. Cool. I remember 56. Not really. I remember the mid 50s, I suppose. Um, Hi, Yvette. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you find us here. You have your notification bell on, 24 watching. Oh, people are doing this deliberately now, right? 24, well, it dropped down to 23, but it was 24 uh, watching and 24 hit the like button. So there you go. I seen that a tornado hit parts of Ohio earlier tonight. Really? We had someone from Ohio here. Um, about 66 degrees, so it's not the cold Kentucky rain, but I'm sure you've had plenty of that this in the past few months. It's 54 and cloudy right now. Oh, I'll tell you, it was so beautiful, but we had to get the laundry done. I got up kind of late because I got a call like at 1:30 in the morning or a text saying that The gentleman I take care of had been admitted to the hospital and that I didn't have to come in. Yeah, I was scheduled for 8 a.m. shift the other day, and I was so glad. Well, it would have been today. I was so glad that I didn't have to do it. I was dead tired, and I didn't know what condition the gentleman was going to be in, and it could have been like the worst shift I ever did because it would have been so challenging, and I would have been exhausted as I did it. So I was so thrilled not to have to put that alarm on, and but I was still kind of anxious, everything running in my head. I prayed and what have you. But I took a second Xanax, which means I'm only taking a total of half a gram. It's not much. And then that means I'm going to sleep in late. I'm going to wake up a few times, but then I'm going to all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's 20 minutes to noon. And so I didn't get to go to Karen's doctor's appointment at 12:30 because by the time I got over there, she was gone. She was gone. She went to see Dr. Rametta, and and he saw plenty of her today. Why do I say these things? Well, she's got this pain on her thigh and what have you, and trying to find out what's the best treatment for that. And so she had to put the gown on today. Hi, Judy. Hi, Judy. Hello, Jack. I am Judy from Florida. 88 degrees today. Really? Are you in the warmest part of Florida, like Miami or what have you? Seems to me right now, I didn't check Port St. Lucie. I did a couple of days ago and it was in the 60s at night. Um, I've never been to Miami though. I've never been there. Palm Beach, where our guy Richard, if you're watching the replay, Richard the Lion-Hearted, he lives very close to Mar-a-Lago, not that far. Um, See, that's the thing about Florida. I really want to be in your state, especially in the months of January and February into early March. But I really wouldn't want to be there in July and August, and I don't want to be there in October because I could blow into South Carolina. And what if I don't land on something squishy? What if I don't land on something squishy in South Carolina? It could be bad. But I love your state. I love your state. You got a great governor. He was my choice to be president, my first choice. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm all in for Trump now. I'm all in for Trump. And who's he going to pick now? I'm not even sure anymore. I think what's her name, Katie Britt from Alabama. I think she unfortunately, well, no, not she's too young. And this is the thing. I don't think I expounded on it. When we're talking about RFK Jr., who's going to siphon some votes, they're very concerned. When we talk about Adrian Rogers and Jesse Ventura, well, at least Jesse was a governor. He's a little way out there, but he is a fascinating man. And I have never went by him in an interview. If I'm doing a little channel surfing and Jesse Ventura is in an interview, I stop and I listen to every word this man says. He's fascinating. Supposedly, so CNN got right on this because, they work for the progressives now. And that's why they do have more people working for them than they have viewers at home because they've sold out. And it's too bad because they do have some wonderful international reporters that deserve better than the crap they've turned into. But anyway, I digress. They were telling the story. In fact, what's her name there in the morning, Brianna Keeler, or now she's in the afternoon. They keep shuffling it around, putting Wolf Blitzer on at 11 in the morning, besides 5 in the afternoon, like he's Mr. Electricity that's going to get viewers. Oh, they'll tune in for Wolf at 11 a.m. as he looks like he's about to fall asleep. And he's sold his credibility, if you ask me. But anyway, if you ask me, you don't have to. Um, she says that she overheard Adrian Rogers, the superstar football player who could be coming back next season if his surgery is completely healed. She heard him say that he believed that the children, this is an Alex Jones thing that got him in a lot of trouble and cost him a fortune, that the children at Sandy Hook, the dead children, were all actors. And, I think there might be a few people in my audience that have said that and thought that, because when you do something like the Bob Joyce topic, you're going to get some of the fringe, and please don't say it if you think the kids were actors. Um, you're going to get some of the fringe that believe everyone that they liked that died faked their death. And I don't usually keep those topics, those titles, those comments in because whoa, my chair, watch me fall back onto the floor, and Shell would be responsible for it. Uh, it takes away from what we do with the Bob Joyce topic. It loses credibility. Oh, yeah, they're conspiracy theorists. They believe, Princess Diana's alive, and this one and that one, everyone they liked is alive. So, um, with the Bob Joyce topic, we're over 60 so-called coincidences now. So it's a very valid story, and even if it turns out to be false, this is the biggest set of coincidences, if you even want to use that word, pieces of evidence, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're going to say Michael Jackson is alive, well, send me an email and give me just 20 substantial, not so and so said it, but 20 substantial reasons and pictures and all that. You can do that if you want to. Not too long of an email though, okay? But it's gotta really make sense. I think our Bob Joyce story really makes sense, and that's why I've stayed with it for 6 years. I'm in Canada. Both our countries need new leaders. Yes, you're right about that. It's scary. Claudette, do you feel that there's a pushback for Justin Trudeau? I mean, he tried to wrecked a lot of truck drivers' lives over that boycott. I'm not saying that you can put up with forever the road being blocked by truckers. I do understand that. Um, but there's all kinds of new laws and restrictions in Canada. This guy feels like a dictator big time. And I wonder if, when it comes election time, do you feel that your election will be valid in Canada? And will it be valid, or will it be controlled by the Trudeau people? Hmm. And why would there be Trudeau people? Why do people line up behind dictators or want to be dictators? Why don't they understand when someone is saying they're for democracy, but they're doing everything else that is the opposite of democracy? I mean, that State of the Union address made me sick. It just made me sick. Anyway, to close out on the Aaron Rodgers thing, I don't know whether he said that. That would be a definite problem if he did. And as beloved as he is, who's to say he's ready to be president of the United States? This is not a popularity contest. I can only think of one man who had zero experience. This is in my lifetime, who had zero political experience, zero, not a governor, not a senator, not a congressman, nothing. I can only think of one man who got in there and did a bang up job in so many areas. And I think, Shelley, you know who I'm talking about. That's Donald John Trump. Now, he was rough at the edges in the beginning, but he got better and better and better. And then COVID happened. And that was a tough thing to deal with. But he got a vaccine out there and what have you. We all took a chance with the vaccine. I realized that this could bite me in the butt down the road, but I made a real time decision that I didn't want to find myself in that damn emergency room 2 miles down the road by myself, being put on a respirator, and that I would roll the dice. I would roll the dice, and I took 3 vaccines, and I'm okay. I think I would have had cardiomyopathy, whether I did it or not, because I think my father had it. There's a history of heart disease there. My mother had some heart disease too. So I rolled the dice. And but it was definitely not for young people, and especially not for little kids. There's no data that proves that. as Dr. Mark Siegel and many other great doctors have said. Even I think Sanjay Gupta lined up on that. Jeannie Thompson, there are no coincidences. Yes, just like there's no such thing as luck. I say, especially if you're a Christian, there's no such thing as luck. Um, yeah, you could make a case for that, of course I have said that. That's why I always go like that. Coincidences. Um, Jack, you are a good talk show host and the truth. Well, I try to be truthful. I try to be truthful, even when I talk about the allure of choosing the wrong way. I really like to listen to you on YouTube, says Yvette. That's very kind of you. And Judy, welcome. Welcome to the new people. Always want to stress that as well. Um, Neil, yeah, you got to see that. They're singing the song "Old Man," and Jimmy Fallon comes out dressed as Neil, sits down and plays the guitar, and then halfway through, Neil Young comes out and joins him. It's great. But that's not all. When he does those pretend music videos with Paul Rudd, right? Paul Rudd. I don't want to say the dead guy by mistake. The guy who died in a sports car, going for a test drive. Um, he does some really good stuff. That's his genre. I like the movie Fever Pitch with Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore and not her politics, but I love her. And so, he was a Boston fan, but that's all right. Friday the 13th. Oh, thanks for um, Friday the 13th. Well, this is the 15th, right? When is the next Friday the 13th? I'm not sure. Obviously, there's a conversation that I might have missed here. Janet Williams, blessings to you, Jack, and everyone from Al and Jan in New Mexico. Hey, Jan. Anywhere near Tucumcari? The only reason I know Tucumcari is I took a Greyhound bus years ago to go out to Los Angeles. I did it more than once, and there were two routes, and one would take you through Tucumcari, and I think Albuquerque as well. Tucumcari, New Mexico. I remember as a row of buildings in the dry desert. You probably don't have a lot of beaches where you not too many beaches. Jack, I had one of my daughters on Friday the 13th. I understand now. I see. Yes. Yes. Well, it's silly to think that there's something bad about Friday the 13th. I don't think there is. I don't know what a numerologist would say about it. I don't know. Um, I don't believe in tarot cards. I don't believe in using them. I'm not saying there's no power in tarot cards. I'm saying it's the wrong kind of power. It's from the dark side. There are more movies with the word dark in the title than I was just doing a search of that on Tubi, I think, and there's like Tubi Prime Video. There's so many movies that have dark in the title of the movie. Dark, darkness, darker is like 50 Shades Darker. Not that I ever saw that. Did I? But the allure of choosing the wrong way. I've been doing that since 1964. I've been choosing the wrong way since 1964. Now, in 1984, 20 years later, I chose the right way and I confessed Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. I thought that would mean that choosing the right way after that would be easy. I've chose the ultimate right way and accepted Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior. Excuse me. But all that did, well, I wouldn't say all that did. That's the wrong thing to say. What that did is it made me more cognizant of my sin. Sin never tasted as good anymore because it was combined now with guilt and trepidation, fear that I'm displeasing the Lord. I remember going to do a Christian music show on Sunday morning right in this city in the 80s called Joy in the morning. Then I renamed it Morning Light when I took over from another guy who was going to Bible college. I remember I was living in Goshen, New York, and I'm driving to the big castle where the radio station was, a former state armory building. And I'm praying to God that he doesn't take the wheel of my car and just to send me right off into the little embankment, over the embankment. It wasn't like I was driving up in Colorado, but you know what I mean. I was just saying I'm so unworthy to do this, and please forgive me of my sins and what have you. And but the allure, with the allure comes it's like, I guess it would be like, I've never smoked crack, but it would be something like that, taking a hit off the crack pipe. You don't want to do it, but you'll feel better once you do. But of course, you also know that'll be a temporary high. That'll be a temporary high, a substitute high, if you will, a substitute high. But the allure of doing the wrong thing can be so captivating. And it can be for the Christian, and for the non Christian, it's even easier, you know, for the non Christian. But for the Christian that gives into the allure of choosing the wrong way, it's like an exhilaration. It's like you did just snort some cocaine, I imagine. It's like you had a couple of drinks, just enough to make you feel a little buzzed and lit, and you feel like you can conquer the world. And it is like TikTok, and like all flat screen addiction, it is very conducive to you becoming a slave to it. A slave to it. It's so much fun when you have those few minutes of pleasure, and um, they are followed by the agony of defeat. I was going to say the agony of knowing that you are displeasing God, those who love you, those who you are responsible for, and what have you. And so, once you become born again, sin never tastes as good as it used to. Never tastes as good as it used to. I think I saw Neo, right? There's Neo. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, Neo. Something about a 1.5 hours ago. Something just ended. Janet is near Little Bethlehem. Little Bethlehem. We have a Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I think I've driven through it or been through it on a bus or something. Um, Yvette, my birthday is next Thursday, the 21st of March, the first full day of spring. I will be the big 6'8", which makes me 2 years away from the big 7'0". That sounds so weird. The guy downstairs just turned 70 in February, and I knew him, when we were much younger. In 1973 is when we met. 1973. We used to be a lot better friends than we are now, but I try to be civil, um, and put up with his ways. And he has to put up with my ways, I guess. But I have to clean after him all the time. It's just the way it is. So accept it. Either leave or accept it. It's like that with everything. You're either going to stay in the situation or you're going to leave. Of course, in my case, if I leave, I cause tremendous upheaval in Karen's life and what have you. And I love her, so I don't want to do that. But I don't really want to be stuck in Kathy Hochul's New York. It gets worse all the time here in New York. Just we deserve better government than this. A lot of pushback on her congestion pricing and putting migrant shelters here and there and what have you. They're God's people too. So I understand that we have to have legal immigration, but 9 million people flooding the country, maybe more, some of them violent. Oi, oi, Claudette, you should do a show on your birthday so we can celebrate with you. Yeah, well, I may very well do that. As I say, I I want to I want to give this more effort than I'm giving. I've got plenty of videos up. I want to do a little bit more roll-in stuff. Hello, Mike Stein. He wants me to do some roll-in stuff and possibly some Zoom interviews. I'd have to I'd have to really feel in doing a Zoom interview that it was going to get views though. So that kind of limits it to the Bob Joyce topic. It does. And even then, it's got to be the right guest. It's got to be the right guest. So that's the story there. The other day it was Pie Day, but they weren't talking about pizza pie. They were talking about your favorite kind of pie: apple, peaches, pumpkin pie, apple, peach pie, pumpkin pie. Um, we have a great business here in New Hampton, Scotty's Pies and other baked goods, but they're cutting back now. They've been around in their institution, and they sell at Soon's Orchard, but they don't sell in the winter anymore. They're only there in the nice weather, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in the warmer weather, I should say. And a lot of people miss them. And they sell at the Goshen Farmers Market and other places, and it's delicious apple turnovers, which are really mini apple pies the way they make them. And of course, they make the pumpkin pies for the holidays, and then they go away now in the winter, and you can't get them in January, February, and March. I don't think they're open yet. I will do a Zoom. I will do a Zoom about Bob Joyce. I have some stuff. Well, Claudette, you might be a great guest. How would I know? It's see the thing about talk radio, Claudette, is if Sean Hannity goes to line 3 and it's I don't know, it's Horace. I don't have a Horace, so I'll use that name. It's Horace from Wyoming calling. All right. Horace thinks he's great. He thinks he's got a lot to share and that people are going to find it fascinating. Um, Horace has already auditioned for a call screener. That would be what she used to call herself Flipper, but now she's going by her real name, Linda. And she's going to chat with you just a little bit to see if you're viable for air, right? Because you're playing to, in his case, an audience of millions. And it's not about hurting your feelings. If you got to choose between hurting your feelings and losing your audience and losing many thousands dropping off and what have you, you have to hurt the one person's feeling. That's how talk radio works. So they can be waiting for an hour and 20 minutes for Sean, and then the call screener feels no, it's not there. They don't have it. It's not going to be good radio, and they don't let you on. They hang up on you. Or you can get on with Sean, and now you're really nervous because he goes to Janet calling from New Mexico. Okay. And she starts talking and it's not really working. So he may dump that call in 15, 20 seconds. He may say thank you for calling, and boom, he's going to go on to another one. So in other words is that it's it's hard. It's hard with anyone who does interviews. Like if I could get Victor Davis Hanson on here, of course I would. I would prepare my butt off because there's nobody better to speak about the times we live in. But I don't. He wouldn't come on here because I don't have enough subscribers, and I'm not sure I have the audience for him. You know, Tucker does, and Candace Owens does, and Jesse Waters does, and Laura Ingram, and all that. But mm, you know, um, obviously, if Pastor Bob Joyce wanted to come on, I'd be happy to do it. But I can't imagine what people would be saying in the stream as we did it, or if we did it pre-recorded, that would be fine too. Um, Tamra, hi, how are you? Gene Ho, certainly have thought about that. And he's got an event to promo because coming to Hot Springs, Arkansas on the 10th and 11th of August is what's the official title for the event? I'm trying to think now. I think he might have passed that on. Um, there's going to be a bunch of speakers on Saturday, including Gene Ho at the Arkansas Convention Center. It's like 150, something like that for the day pass. Then there's a VIP pass that's much more, and that kind of thing. Amanda Grace is going to be there. She has a following on YouTube and lives in Dutchess County. She only lives about 45 minutes from me, I think. And um, Gene will definitely speak. Who knows? Maybe Mike Lindell will show up. They're friends. It could happen, you know. Um, so that I would certainly interview Gene, but I couldn't ask him the questions you want me to ask. You know, he doesn't talk about that. I'm sure. I'm sure he doesn't talk about that. Doing good, Jack. Glad to catch the show. Well, I'm glad you did, Lara. Lara is talking about blackberries, and I don't think it's the kind that they're now going out of fashion, the digital kind. Blackberries are starting to come out on the vine, and the apple trees starting to bloom now. Oh, that's great. It's just so much better than old man winter. Oh, I like the four seasons. Well, I'll give you Florida. Let's skip that one. Let's skip that one. Um, I swear to you, I'm going to spend more time in Florida next January and February if the Lord allows. Or, as I've said before, we make our plans and the Lord just smiles. We're already almost at an hour and a half. So I got to wind this down. But the allure of choosing the wrong way. So much more to say about that than I'm going to say to tonight. Um, this has been my stumbling block since 1964. I, I was 8 years old in 1964. Maybe yeah, I would have been eight because it would have been summertime of 1964 when I experienced the pleasure of sin at a very innocent, low level. But I knew that it was an experience I wanted to feel again and again and again and again, that I would try to recreate. And now at 67, I still struggle with the allure of choosing the wrong way, the allure of doing something that's, you know, exciting, satisfying, but only for a moment, only for a season. Maybe whether it be looking at something you shouldn't look at on the telly or computer, or you know, meeting somebody. I'm not talking about for sex, but helping somebody out that you probably shouldn't be helping out because you're attracted to that person and they're not for you. They're not for you. You know. Yeah, there's all kinds of examples of it. But you want to talk about cherry pie, Neo. I am told that it can put a smile on your face 10 miles wide. Well, that's a big thing because along with the allure of sexuality, of crushes and things like that, there's the allure of food. I had a Pastor Steve, that said that's one of our big things, isn't it? And I have said before, I'm in the home here of New York pizza, not Brooklyn pizza, but Hudson Valley pizza is terrific if you go to the right place. You can hit the wrong place. As I said before, if God was a large pizza with mushrooms and peppers, and not these raw peppers that Domino's would throw on the pizza. I'm talking about peppers that have been fermented and what have you, nice and tangy and cooked and already, and then they're put onto the pizza with the mushrooms and the sauce that is real New York style and real mozzarella cheese and a crispy crust. If God was that, I'd have no problem approving my loyalty if God was a pizza pie, but he's not. He's not. And so a food addiction, always thinking about our next great meal. What will I have for breakfast? When will I go back to the bakery? When will I go back to Golden Corral? When will I get that next pizza? Oh, how about the Chinese buffet? Oh, that's so good. That's so good if you pick the right one. And we got a great one in Newburgh called Flaming Grill in town of Newburgh, New York. Go there if you're anywhere near it, New York people. Trust me on this. Everyone that I've ever sent there comes back and thanks me profusely. I know a lot of places don't have great Chinese buffets or even a great Chinese restaurant. Um, at least when I'm eating the broccoli and the green beans and what have you, along with the other stuff, I can say, well, I'm getting some good food here. I'm getting some healthy food drenched in salt. What I'll do is I'll get the beef with broccoli, when I'm at a buffet, I'm saying, and I won't get too much of the beef at all, but I'll take the sauce that's in there and I'll pour it on top of the broccoli for that extra salty tang, and salt is not good for you. And my triglycerides are terrible. So I have to keep that in mind. Don't I, Doris? Hi, Doris Sutton Schroeder. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. People are still finding us here on Midnight Ramblings. We're going to call it a night because we're past an hour and uh, a half now already, past an hour and a half. But I'm so glad that people found us. And yeah, I'm planning on doing a Saturday night, 10:30 for Worldwide Ramblings this Saturday night. Um, Probably a pre-recorded video or two before that, and I'm going to try, coming on at times. Maybe I won't get an audience at all, but try coming on at, you know, sometime at like 10 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. We have tried we tried 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, and that wasn't people are watching their favorite shows and stuff like that. I'm watching Mark Levin usually Sunday night, 8 o'clock on Fox here on the East Coast. Daylight savings time now. Yes, daylight savings time. Um, Sorry, I usually kill the mic when I cough, and I'm going to do that. Just have a little tickle, just a little tickle. So anyway, to close the topic of the allure of choosing the wrong way, here in the last days, it would be good if, for me, I'm speaking to myself now, if I put more effort into choosing the right way, although it be painful and what have you. I don't think we have to worry about being perfect, but we have to be about doing the Lord's work and increasing our seeking of His face and what have you. Um, how many people do that in their lives? It's probably less than 20%. Really, really do it. Even those that go to church every week may have no idea about what an intimate relationship with the Lord is. You know, they go to do a ritual, they think they're on the right track, but you don't want to be the one that hears, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you." You don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to see my end of life movie if there should be one. Don't want to see that. Oh boy. Yvette. Thank you, Yvette. I'm so glad you guys stopped by. Neo, Laura Shadley. Yeah, 10:30 Saturday night, Worldwide Ramblings is the plan. If anything happens, I'll do a promo talking about it. He talked to me at my hair, my arms stood up. You're probably talking about meeting Bob Joyce. It must be. It must be. Either that, either that, or I'm trying to think of something funny, you know. Uh, um, nothing's coming to mind, so that's just the way it is. Thank you, Doris, for stopping by. Jack, I turned my life around at the age of 21. On March 17th, I will be clean and sober for 36 years. Well, God bless you. God has kept me safe and took the compilation to drink away. Why am I not getting that word? You're talking about the urge, another word for the urge to drink away. Well, that's when you know that you have a God thing going on, when the urge to drink has been taken away. Because I've heard many alcoholics say, um, that I quit drinking 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and I miss it every day. I've heard that from so many. For 44 years, I got my pizza Hawaiian style. Well, they make a good one at Calandria here in Middletown. Maybe I'll wear my Calandria shirt Saturday night. I was just there and I got a white slice with broccoli. But their Hawaiian slice is there's not supposed to be any sauce on an Hawaiian pie. That's the first thing. If you're putting if you want to put pineapple on your pizza that has sauce and cheese, fine, do it. But that's not an Hawaiian. A Hawaiian is a white pie with some nice gobs of ricotta cheese, mozzarella cheese, of course, and bits of really quality ham. Cut up ham and the pineapple. That's a real Hawaiian pizza. Don't get it from Domino's, all right? You'll be disappointed. But hey, I've enjoyed a Domino's pizza at 11:30 at night when it was the only place that was open. You know, the first or second slice isn't bad. After that, you start saying, as this gets colder, it tastes worse and worse. Don't mind Little Caesars, their deep crust, deep dish pizza once in a while. But I try, with triglycerides at 425, maybe I should stay away from pizza. And it's not easy for me to get those down. Hmm. Yeah, so that's the deal. Thanks everybody for watching this impromptu midnight ramblings. We're going to do more live in the future. We're going to do more live in the future, and not be just because I, obviously want to see an increase in funds. I really, this is, I did live radio since 1977, and I've always enjoyed having an audience, but it's different now. You can see me and I can interact with you. The only way I interacted with people on the radio is they call me on the request line. And if they called me at 2 o'clock on the request line, this goes back to my single days, and they had a real soft voice. I will leave that alone. Shouldn't I, Ted Richards? I should leave it alone. All you replay crowd, please let me know where you're watching. Please subscribe and like. We have 24 watching right now and 28 likes. I appreciate the subscription, the likes, and please hit the notification bell. Can you do that? Because that would be swell if you can hit the notification bell. Religion about a relationship rather than just bells and smells. Um, Bells and smells. I like that, Neil. I'll have to think about what the heck it means. But oh, I see. You're talking about the Catholic experience and the incense, huh? But I love the incense at the Catholic Mass. I do love it. I do. In a high mass, there's so much incense you might choke. I had to think about yeah, you're definitely talking about the Catholic experience. I was an altar boy. I was. I was an altar boy in the '60s at St. Joseph's Church. I love the liturgy and I love the celebration of the Eucharist, the body and blood of Jesus Christ. I believe in the literal presence there, if it's done correctly, and would sure help if the priest is born again. That always helps, right? But that's in God's hands. What happens there? And Jesus didn't say, my fellow Protestants, and I've spent many years in the Protestant church and served as a deacon in the Protestant church. Jesus didn't say, in regards to communion, do this in memory of me. Yeah, once a month, every 6 weeks, whenever you can get to it, rush through it. You rush through it, because we all know that the big moment is where the preacher uh, performs his sermon and makes you feel like he's preaching that verse that you've heard before, that those verses, verse by verse preaching in a way you've never heard it before. He'll take 50 minutes to do that and do communion in 5 minutes. No, 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 no. So I like those bells and smells, Neo. But yeah, you really got to seek the presence of the Lord in the service. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Have a real praise and worship time. And the Catholics fall terribly short in that area. They do. They do. They do. They do. Good night, Doris. Good night, Ted Richards. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Please continue to comment in the replay, and I'll talk to you, if not before, Saturday night. That will be well, like it's so far away, it's tomorrow night, the 16th of March 2024, about 10:30 East Coast Daylight Savings Time. Big God bless you. Bye bye for now.